Hey guys, good morning, and welcome to Code Over Coffee. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about something that's been, brewing in my mind, and it's a hot take for me. It's AI agents are replacing SaaS, and it means a lot for the future of software, right? And I don't think you should be worried about, where SaaS apps are literally disappearing overnight. But there is a buzz in the tech circles that autonomous AI agents could change how we use software. It all kicked off pretty much when the CEO, Satya Nadella, said that SaaS is dead in 2024. That provocative soundbite sent shockwaves through the industry. After all, SaaS, which stands for Software as a Service, has dominated software for nearly 2 decades. So was Satya just stirring up the pot, or are we really on the verge of a software paradigm shift? So in this episode, I just wanted to break down, what AI agents actually are, how they differ from everyday SaaS apps, and why they're gaining so much traction in 2024. We'll highlight some real examples from AI customer support reps, to sales assistants and research bots. Basically, AI coworkers taking over tasks that we used to handle via dashboards and forms. We'll also chat about the impact on the SaaS business and how VCs or startups are reacting to it and what it means for developers. Yeah, so let's get started. So I think the first foundation is what are AI agents? First up, what do people mean by that when they say AI agents? Is it just a fancy term for chatbot? I used to think that, but it's not really. An AI agent is more than a chatbot that just gives replies. It's an autonomous helper that takes actions to accomplish goals, not just talk. Right? One developer defined description puts it in a way: an agent understands a goal, breaks it into steps, uses tools, checks results, and adjusts its approach. It's a digital intern that can help it execute tasks on its own with some guidance. Think of a traditional chatbot or even GPT-based assistants. They respond with information or text, right? An AI agent, by contrast, can act on your behalf. It has a bit of initiative. It can remember context across and operate continuously in the background. For example, you might tell an AI agent, hey, generate the next quarter's sales forecast and email it to the team. A capable agent will break this down. It could pull data from your sales CRM, crunch the numbers, create a draft report, and then actually send an email, all without clicking through multiple apps. In other words, AI agents combine the brains of AI reasoning, learning, natural language understanding, and the brawn of software automation. They can use API databases and services directly to get things done. Crucially, AI agents operate with a degree of autonomy. You give it high-level instructions, and they figure out the how. As one article explains, an agentic AI flow might be told to handle all incoming customer refund requests this week, and it will plan the steps, gather the data, and execute the tasks across multiple systems to achieve that goal, all while adapting if something changes. So it's kind of like a big leap in software that does exactly what it's hard coded to do. They're less about static programming and more about dynamic problem solvers. So to sum it up, AI agents are like digital colleagues. They understand goals in a natural language. They act to fulfill the goals by calling software or navigation apps without needing a human to manually drive every step. They differ from earlier if this, then that automation, because they can handle the ambiguity and adapt, which is a big step forward. And if a step fails, a good agent will try an alternative rather than just throw an error. This ability to reason and adjust is why so many people are excited about it. So how do AI agents differ from traditional SaaS? Traditional SaaS applications are the web or mobile apps we log in for everything. Think Salesforce for CRM, Workday for HR, or your project management tool. You can get your user interface, forms, buttons, dashboards, and you, the human, must click and navigate through the workflows. SaaS made software more accessible via the cloud, but fundamentally, it's still a person driving the software. Each SaaS app is like a separate vehicle you must drive to get the task done. Now, AI agents flip that around. You tell the AI what outcome you want, and the AI navigates the software for you. Instead of hopping between 5 different SaaS dashboards and copying pasting info, you could just say, agent, prepare a slide deck with our key KPIs from last month. The agent figures out the systems have those KPIs and grabs the data via API and perhaps even generates the few slides. All behind the scenes from the user's perspective, the interface becomes conversational or command, not a series of menus and forms. So Satya Nadella's comment also noted that crude database with business logic, and he predicts the notion that business applications will collapse in the agent era. The AI agent won't care what the back end is. It will update multiple databases, embed all the logic in the AI layer rather than just each app. In plainer terms, today we have many soiled SaaS applications, each with their own UI and logic. In the future, AI just becomes the unified interface, and it directly manipulates the data and processes across whose formerly soiled apps. So let's illustrate a quick scenario. Traditional way, I want to reimburse an expense report. I open the expense SaaS app, find the pending reports, approve one, maybe cross-check budget with another app. With agentic AI, I could just plain language approve last week's expense report that are under 500. The agent logs into the expense system, each report across verifies policy if needed, and approves them. Maybe even messages them your report's approved, all without doing any of those clicks. In a way, AI agents act like smart layer on top of SaaS, potentially replacing the direct use of SaaS UI. And that's why I think a lot of UI is going to change. A lot of front-end development is going to be affected. Let's talk about why AI agents are gaining traction in 2024. At least that's when it started. We're now in 2026. So why is this trend taking off now? And it's just one word, right? AI, specifically the leaps generative AI capabilities in the last couple of years. LLMs like GPT-4 gave software huge boosts in understanding context and handling the language. This made it feasible to build agents that you can construct in plain English and then can perform complex sequences of actions. The concept of AI agent isn't brand new, but in 23, 24, we saw the tech catch up to the vision. And it's continuing on now well into 2026. We went from simple chatbots to auto GPT and then autonomous GPT-4 agent that can iterate on tasks. Especially the idea of AI intern handling digital chores became a more realistic reality. Crucially, business pain points are driving interest too, right? Companies drowning in SaaS tools. Enterprise employees might use dozens of different apps handling SaaS sprawls and constant context switching. It's inefficient and frustrating. AI agents promise to remedy by abstracting that complexity. Instead, you adopt to each software quirks. So let's talk about traction and hype. According to industry reports, AI agents shifting from one theory practice remarkably fast. They predicted that by 2025, 8% of organizations had implemented AI at least one area. And are projected to be 80% by 2026. I'm sure everybody that works in tech knows this very well. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to be all successful. Most probably aren't. But that's the prediction, right? From a funding perspective, AI is the new hotness compared to traditional SaaS. In 2024, the VC money fund, started flooding in. 2025, even more. 2026, we're starting to see a little bit of slowdown with the funding, but it's still growing. They're also seeing faster growth trajectories in the products, like Stripe reported that the top 100 AI companies in its user base got 5 million annual revenues, nearly twice as fast as SaaS companies did. So what would be an example of, let's say, AI agents in action, right? Let's concentrate on a few examples. It's not all theoretical. There are startups, and projects out there that are using AI agents. One is customer support agents, right? Those are very popular. Let's say one a good example is Klarna. They built an AI customer service agent using OpenAI tech. That's in the first month handled 2.3 million conversations, about 2/3 of their customer chats. That volume is equivalent to about 700 full-time agents, which is crazy. Amazingly, the AI agents also achieved parity with human agents on customer satisfaction scales. I don't know whether that's a high bar, but it did. And it even outperformed efficiency. It cut the average resolution from 11 minutes to 2 minutes. It works 24/7 across 23 markets, 35 languages. Klarna estimates that it will save them $40 million, and it will continue to do so. Save even more as time progresses. Sales and another one that a lot of people get a lot of calls on, sales and outreach agents. They've been, because of the outdated SaaS tools like CRM, email automation, lead databases, now crop up all sales reps agents has emerged. Startups like Reggie.ai, 11x.ai, AISDR, and other AI-powered companies that were founded. Remarkably, the investors are very optimistic about it. For example, multiple AI SDR tool hit 1 million ARR within the first year or less. These agents can represent various companies, work in various different ways. Another example is ZoomInfo and Salesforce. They're integrating similar AI agents into their products. For example, Salesforce Einstein Copilot and the Agent Force can automate parts of sales workflow. The next one is AI research and analytics assistants. If you ever spend hours fiddling with BI, business, dashboards, as I had for years, or doing market research via Google, this is for you. AI agents can act as a research assistant, can help replace the need for manually gathering the synthesis information. For instance, right, there are agents that connect you from internal knowledge base or a database. So you can ask something like, which product line is the highest growth last quarter and why? And get the answer in charts without opening Tableau or Excel yourself. And this are going to include building conversational analytics and literature review agents. For example, Elicit.org uses AI to help research and researchers find and summarize academic papers. All right. Open showing demos of Excel plugins where you can get, where you can ask questions, and an AI agent writes the formula and generates the pivot tables. These agents essentially turn data analysis, which is used to require manual querying of SaaS tools. And they generate real-time business health reports, right? Something that took analysts days to compile before. In short, the dull dashboard slogs might be outsourced to an AI that lives and crunch numbers all day long. The next one you guys seen is coding and DevOps agents. We've all seen those. If you're in the tech world, developers are getting help, not just in code completion, like for example, GitHub Copilot, but in higher level tasks. For instance, AI agents serve as DevOps assistants, monitoring logs, diagnosis tools, issues, and even patching server configurations automatically. Companies like Amazon exploring this for AWS management. There's also Cursor, an AI pair programmer mentioned earlier, which goes beyond suggesting code and can autonomously create small apps or scripts for a given goal. And there might be work that needed on these, right? And this is just a few snapshots. And so basically, in summary, AI agents are popping up pretty much everywhere. Wherever there's repetitive digital tasks, a multi-step process. Customer support, sales outreach, data analysis, IT operations, content generation, you name it. Many startups are starting to use pretty much all types of agents. And that pattern is, instead of giving you a better dashboard, they say, forget the dashboard. You just tell the AI what you need. Some agents operate entirely behind the scenes, like batch processing. Others interact with users via chat or voice, but in all cases, the user isn't clicking around for traditional UI. They're delegating the agents. So, in conclusion, AI agents going to replace SaaS. Our take is they're going to reshape SaaS and the software landscapes at large, but in a way that will eventually feel like evolution rather than destruction. We're witnessing a shift from user interacting with a dozen of apps to users interacting with a handful of smart agents that coordinate those apps. In a bit of moving from driving multiple cars to having a chauffeur, but you still need a well-maintained road and cars for that journey. SaaS provides the roads and cars. In 2024, AI agents have gained tractions because they address the real pain points: complexity and efficiency, with new levels of intelligence and autonomy. Startups and tech giants are already racing to offer solutions, even though they might not be the best, that automate workflows and improve productivity. We've seen this in support, sales, healthcare, you name it. The excitement is justified, I can see that, but there is a sense that we're on the cusp of new software paradigm, often dubbed as the agentic era. But there are also hints that SaaS isn't truly dead, it's just evolving. The smart SaaS companies are weaving AI into their fabric and rethinking their value proposition. Meanwhile, users and developers are adjusting to collaborate with AI agents and not just use static tools. There will be winners and losers, and some legacy software will feel the squeeze, and some new AI players will rise, and most will just flame out. It's an environment of rapid experimentation. So one thing is certain though, the conversation between software as a service and software as an agent will continue, and we'll be here, coffee in hand, to make sure we make sense of it all, or at least do our best to make sense of it all. Thank you guys. Have a good day.